YouTube Live. Facebook Live.
Cover our mouth, protect yourself. God, Mouth, Banya, Howda, Banya, Shala.
God, Mouth, Banya, Howda, Banya, Shala.
Yahweh, Shin, Yahweh, Shop, Rakathun.
Yahweh, Shin, Yahweh, Shop, Rakathun.
Yashala, La Yashala, Slack.
Amaju, which means to stand. Walk when Yahweh down, which means turn to face the east. We'll do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayah. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malak Taba'ah. Ratazak. Hayah. I.S.U.P.K. Ba'arataza. Kawak. Hayah. Bashemayah. The thunder now. Lakam. Kab. Yawam. Wasalak now. Kawawak now. Hasalak now. Kawawak now. Wala'ah. Tabaya'ah now. Wanasaya one. Above. Hawashai now. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Hamalak. Wahat the power. The I will love you. Amen.
Our Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. We'll do the power. Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahweh Shah. Baba Kushar. The thunder now. Hakak. Larapa'ah. Kamakallah. Wakamarawah. Hakak. Latahah. Hamatazariah. Hakak. Lahakim. Hamathim. Hakak. Arakawa. Latama'al. The Garashan. Bahashem. Yahweh Shah. The water Amun. Yahweh. And then Yahweh, please give us the power, the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh, thank you. So be it. We're going to do Psalms 121. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Hahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, I.S.U.P.K, Shemayah, Wa'arataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawak, Regal, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'al, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yah, Yamyika, Yawamam, Hashamas, La'ah, Yakak, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makara, Yashamar, Afnapasha, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'af, Wa'itha, Wa'ayawlam, Amen.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help? My help coming from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth.
Do not suffer thy foot to be
moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel,
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is the shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
Yahweh
soul.
shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
And thy coming in.
and thy coming in from this time forth
Forevermore.
and even forevermore. So be it.
We're going to do Psalms 83. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al-Damaya Laka.
Al-Damaya Laka.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Takarash.
Wa Al-Tashakwat.
Wa al-Tashakwat.
Al. Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabyaka.
Awayabyaka.
Yahama Yawan.
Yahweh Yawan.
Wa Mashanayaka.
Wa Mashanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Nasha'awa.
Ra'ash.
Wa'ash.
Al-Imaka.
Al-Imaka.
Wa
Wa Irayamwa.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayataya Aitazawa.
Wayataya Aitazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amawa.
Amawa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakida.
Wanakakida.
Magalia.
Magalia.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'al.
Sham Yasha'al.
Iwad.
Iwad.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Now what Aitazawa.
Now what Aitazawa. La.
Yakadwa.
Lakadwa.
Alyaka.
Alyaka.
Maya.
Maya.
Yakarathwa.
Yakarathwa.
Ahalia.
Ahalia.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wayashma'alia.
Wayashma'alia.
Mawa'aba.
Mawa'aba.
Wahagaria.
Wahagaria.
Kabal.
Kabal.
Wa'aimawan.
Wa'aimawan.
Ainalak.
Ainalak.
Palashat.
Palashat.
I'm Yashabia.
I'm Yashabia.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Nalawar.
Nalawar.
Amam.
Amam.
I'm Yashab Slaki. Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawad.
Zarawad.
Labanya Lawat.
Labanya Lawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aishalaham.
Aishalaham.
Kamadian.
Kamadian.
Kasaya Sarah.
Kasaya Sarah.
Kayabian.
Kayabian.
Banakal.
Banakal.
Koyashwan.
Koyashwan.
Nashamadwa.
Nashamadwa.
Ba'ayan Da'ara.
Ba'ayan Da'ara.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
La'arma.
La'arma.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Nadayamwa.
Nadayamwa.
Ka'ira.
Ka'ira.
Wakaza'awa.
Wakaza'awa.
Wakazabat.
Wakazabat.
Wakatazamana.
Wakatazamana.
Nasaya Kamwa.
Nasaya Kamwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amal.
Amal.
Nayarashad.
Nayarashad.
Lalawa.
Lalawa.
Af. Na'awa.
Na'awa.
Alahaya.
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 Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Kagagala.
Kagagala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanyaraka.
Lapanyaraka.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Taba Ira Yaira.
Taba Ira.
Wakala Haba.
Wakala Haba.
Talahat.
Talahat.
Haryam.
Haryam.
Khan.
Khan.
Taradakma.
Taradakma.
Basa Irika.
Basa Irika.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Wabasa Wapathka.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'a.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kualawan.
Kualawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Wayabakwashwa.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawah. Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Wayabahawa.
Wayabahawa.
Ayda. Wayakaparwa.
Wayakaparwa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Wayadaiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Atha. Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawah.
Yahawah.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Kaharataza.
Al-Kaharataza.
Amah.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O
Hold
Yahweh.
not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh. For lo,
thine enemy.
thine enemies make it tumble.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
Consulted
And
consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come,
and let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off
from being a nation.
That the name of Israel may be no more remembered. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. And Moab. And the Hagarenes. Gabal. And Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kishon. Which perish at Endor. They become as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zeb. And let all their princes. As above. And Zamuna. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wind. As a stubble before the wind. And as the fire burns the wood. And as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. Make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. So be.
Blessings. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazab Yahab.
Matazab Yahab.
Alawap Yahanna.
Alawap Yahanna.
Ha Alawapim.
Ha Alawapim.
Ha Soranyim.
Ha Soranyim.
Ha Kwatazayamyim.
Ha Kwatazayamyim.
Ha Kagayoyim.
Ha Kagayoyim.
Wa Hakwathim.
Wa Hakwathim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Bahashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
The water Aman.
The water Aman.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanded Yahanna. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Sar, which means to turn. Yeshavim. Yeshavim, which means to sit.
We're going to continue with our reading from last week. We're up to 2 Samuel chapter 9. We're going from verses. The first reading is going to be 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 10, and we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 3. All right.
Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 10 in the Hebrew. Why I die, lawa, ha'adamah, atha, wabanayak, wa'abadiyak, wahaya, laban, adanayaka, lakam, wa'akalawa, Wamagaya Basha Ban Adanayaka Yalaka Damaya Lakam Al Shalakanaya Walataza Yaba Kamasha Aisha Banayam Wa Aisha Yam Ibadayam, verse 11. Waya Amar, Taza Yaba, Al, Hamalak, Kakao, Ashar, Yataza Wa'a, Adanaya, Hamalak, Ibadwa, Kana, Ya Aisha, Ibadak, Wama Gayabasha. Akab, Al, Shalakanaya, Kad, Mabanaya, Hamalak, verse 12. Walama Gaya Basha, Ban, Kad, Sana, Ta, Tana. Washamawa, Masha Ka'a, Wakal, Mawasha, Baya, Tazaya Ba'a, Ibadayan, Lamagaya Basha, verse 13. Wamagaya Basha, Yasha, Bayara Washalam, Kaya, Al, Shilakan, Hamalak, Damayat, Hawa'a, Akal, Wahawa'a, Wasak, Shataya, Shataya, Wagala Yawa. 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1. Wayahaya, Akaraya, Khan, Wayamath, Malak, Benaiah, Al-Muwan, Malak, Kanayan, Kanawan, Banawa, Thakatayawa, Rasu, Waya Amar, Dawada, Aisha, Kasad, Ain, Kanawan, Ban, Nakash, Kaashar, Aisha, Abanawa, Imadaya, Kasad, Ayashalak, Dawada, Lanakamawa, Bayat, Ibada Yawa, Al, Abada Yawa, Waya Ba'awa, Ibadaya, Dawada, Al Rataza, Banaya, Wana, verse 3. Waya Amawa, Shariah, Benaiah, Al Mawan, Al Kanawan, Al Dana Hamakabad, Dawada, Abana Yak, Ba'ayana Yak, Kaya, Shalak, Laka, Manakama Yam, Halaawa, Ba'ay Bawar, Kakawar, Ha'ay Yura, Walara Gala'a, Walahaka, Shalak, Dawada, Albaya Yawa, Alayak, verse 4.
That's it.
Nice.
We're gonna be in English now. Again, we're rehearsing our culture, right? And
Right.
that's why we're rehearsing in Hebrew.
Right.
Now we're gonna go ahead and read in English. Speaking of rehearsing our culture, remember tonight starts the Day of Atonement at the sundown.
Right.
Right. So at the sundown, prepare to afflict yourselves.
Right.
Right. Of course, children eat. Do not afflict the babies.
Right.
Right. They have nothing to do with this as of right now. For this is for us to kind of fight our own demons and own spirit.
Right.
So that's the whole purpose of the Day of Atonement. So from sundown tonight to sundown tomorrow, we will not eat.
Right.
We will not drink.
Right.
So just remember that, right? But do not be like them fake Israelite groups who do to the babies also.
Right.
That's not for them as of right now. Babies, nursing mothers.
Right.
So make it easy. Seek counsel. If there's a situation, always seek counsel from the camp leader, right?
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Second in the English, 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 10. Thou therefore and thy sons and thy servants shall till the land for him, and thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Zabah
So this is King David making provisions for the son of his man Jonathan. Now Jonathan has died, right? Jonathan had died. So if you read earlier in the chapter, King David is in power now, and he's looking to do kindness to that brother, even though the brother's not here. That's brotherhood,
Right.
And he's saying, is there anybody left in Jonathan's house that I can show kindness to?
Right.
So somebody does mention this young brother who's injured. He got injured while they were fleeing and during the war. The maid who was carrying him as a baby, he fell and he injured himself. He's laying in the leg. So they mentioned him, and King David, of course, brought him immediately into his house.
Right.
And is now giving service instructions on how to provide for this brother here.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
Now Zabah had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Zabah unto the king, according to all that my lord the king hath commanded his servant, so shall thy servants do. As for Mephibosheth,
Mephibosheth. That's the son of Jonathan, by the way. Right? Go ahead.
Mephibosheth said the king, he shall eat at my table.
What?
He shall eat at my table.
Mephibosheth would eat at King David's table.
Right.
So King David, so it was custom when the king would eat, he'd have a big table and it would have all the people. You can imagine all the people of importance, all his military generals, everybody would be at that table and eat with him.
Right.
They would talk, would counsel, they break bread.
Right.
This brother here is not in the military. He's not a valiant warrior. He's not important. His family, as you imagine, is probably shamed in all of Israel right now.
Right.
This brother's going to eat at my table. You understand? He's going to eat at my table. So everybody will see this brother who is lame and who is the son of a disgraced king at King David's table. Because that is Jonathan's son.
God.
You understand? And King David's elevating and making sure that he is not shamed because of who he is. Right? Go ahead.
As one of the king's sons.
As what?
As one of the king's sons.
Meaning what? He will eat at my table as one of the king's sons. Meaning what?
As if, because the king's sons will be eating it, so he'll be eating it just as if he was my son.
Exactly. This is my son. You understand? He's basically saying, as I have sons, he's one of my sons now. He'll be eating at my table.
Right. Verse 12. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah, and all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth.
Mm-hmm.
So Mephibosheth dealt in Jerusalem, for he did eat continually at the king's table, and was lame on both his feet.
Right.
And it came to pass after this.
Hold it.
2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun, his son, reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will shew kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, and his father shewed kindness unto me.
So the king of Ammon at the time, when David was on the run, the king showed kindness to him.
Right. You
understand? Whereas a lot of people shoot him away, you'd have to understand it if you were a fugitive, if you were on the run.
Right.
From a king.
Right.
You understand? Or from the Lord.
Right.
Anybody who helped you, you always remember it.
Right.
So King David is saying, I'm going to remember this heathen. This is a heathen nation, the king of Ammon, the Ammonites. Right? I'm going to remember him because he showed kindness to me.
Right.
Right? Even though he has died. So King David is basically remembering the death of all the people who showed him kindness. He does not let it go.
Right.
The death of Jonathan. Where are Jonathan's children? Jonathan has one son alive. Bring him to me.
Right.
The Hanun, which is was the king of Ammon. Where's his children? Because he's dead, right?
Right.
So this is going to be a very interesting story. It's a very heavy point that we should learn also here.
Kind of.
Go ahead. Point 2.
And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servant came into the land of the children of Ammon. Verse 3. And the princes of the children of Ammon said,
read from verse 2.
Or top 2. 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 2. Then said David, I will shew kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father shewed kindness unto me.
Right.
And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father.
So David sent messengers to comfort him. And you know how Israel is. When you have a death in the family, he sends his messengers with gifts.
Right.
You understand? And kind words.
Right.
And words of encouragement to comfort him because his father had just died.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
And David sent comfort to him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun, their lord.
So now, David's servants came into the land with gifts, bearing gifts and kind words. So
right.
show comfort to him.
Right.
Now, this is the princes of the children of Ammon, meaning his people, his family,
right.
the leaders, his religious leaders and military people and so forth, right? Are going to speak to this young man concerning David. Go ahead.
Right.
Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he have sent comforters unto thee?
You think that King David is sending these comforters to really comfort you because of the loss of your father? You think he give a damn about you and your father? That's what they're saying to him. Right? Go ahead.
Hath not thy father rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city and to spy it out?
No, read it again. Hath not what?
Hath not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it?
Them said basically telling him the real reason he's saying these comforters is to spy out the city.
Right.
You probably think because your father is dead that you're weak now, and he's looking to take over the city. Right? That's what his counselors had to say to him. I believe that's it, right?
Verse 3.
That was the end of the verse 3.
Most High Christ. I'm out. Get up here. I will watch it. Present thyself.
Avawadia, Bun Gad, Bun Yashala.
Wadi Bun Gad, Bun Yasha'ala.
One more time. No, but up here. I will watch it. Bun Gad, Bun Yashala.
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabbat Rakatham.
Let me know.
Shabbat. We're going from 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 4 through 10. How many of you reading? You ready to tackle it or not yet? All right. You know what? Did you do it before?
No.
All right. We're going to have Kazak read the first, the 4 through 9, and then you're going to read 10. All right? So, go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 4. 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 4. Wayaka. Kanawana. I.S.U.P.K. Dawada. Wayagalka. Kat desire. Zakwanma. Wayakratha. Madawa Yaham. Baktazaya. I. Shath Wathayan. Wayashalakam. Verse 5. Wayagadwa. Ladawada. Wayashalak. Lakura Atham. Kaya. Hayawa. Ha'anashiyam. Nakalmayam. Wa'ad. Waya Amar. Hamalak. Shabawa. Baya Rakawa. I. Yatazamak. Zakwanakam. Washabatham. Verse 6. Waya Ra'awa. Banya. Imawa. Kaya. Naba'ashua. Badawada. Waya Shalakwa. Banya. Imawa. Waya Shakara. Ath. Aramah. Bayath. Rakawaba. Wa'ath. Aramah. Tazawaba'at. Aishariam. Alap. Regalia. Wa'ath. Malak. Ma'aika. Alap. Ayash. Wa'ayash. Tawar. Shanayam. Aisha Sharak. Ayash. Verse 7. Wayashamai. Dawada. Wayashalak. Ath. Yawa'al. Yawa'aba. Wa'ath. Kara. Hatazaba'at. Hagabarian. Verse 8. Wayataza'awa. Banya. Imawan. Waya'ira. Waya'irayaka. Malakha. Pathak. Hasha'ira. Wa'arama. Tazawaba'a. Warak Wa'aba. Wa'ayash. Tuwa. Wa'ma'akha. Labadma. Bashada. Verse 9.
Wayashah. Yawa'aba. Kaya. Hayathama. Al-Yuwa, Panaya, Hamalak, Mapha, Mapana Ma, Wama, Wama Wama Kawa, Wayabunika, Makai, Bakawa Raya, Bayashala, Ra, Ka, Laquara, item, Ashar, and Ram. Verse 10. Wayatham, Wa'atham, Wa'ath, Ya'atham, Hayam, Ha'ayam, Lathamnan, Bayada, Abashiyah, Akiyah, Akaya, Wa, Waya'aya, Ka, Waya'arak, the Quara Thumb, Ta, Vanaya, I'm a one.
All right, go ahead and read it in the English now.
Second Samuel, chapter 10, verse 4. Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards.
All right, so remember, David sent his servants over to the land of Ammon to comfort Hashan, the son of the Ammonite who died recently, the king, right? And his counselors, the counselors of Hashan, basically said he's really coming here to spy out the land and take it over, right? That's why he's really coming here. Go ahead, sis.
So, what is the kind of background behind it? I know it said that David wanted to honor their father.
Mm-hmm.
But what was it that happened between David and?
So what happened was when David was on the run, of course, being on the run with his men, with his soldiers, he needed help. You understand? I believe the king of Ammon didn't turn him away, but offered him food.
Okay.
Right? And David remembered that, basically. So because of what he did for David, David said, you know what? I'm going to show, he died, I'm going to show his son some comfort. You understand? Because at this point, remember, David is king of Israel. David is powerful. David doesn't need nobody. And that's when you're able to show mercy.
Right.
When you're in a position of power.
That's right.
Not when you're a beggar. When David was on the run, he was not able to show no mercy or no kindness, no love to the Ammonites. But here he is in position to show mercy and kindness. Right? And he sent his servants over there to comfort his son. But being that he is powerful, now the children of Ammon are afraid. And they're saying he's coming here to kill us. He's coming here to take over the land. As he took over all the land of Israel. You can imagine, side note, you can imagine the rumors going around after the Lord gave King David Israel, because everybody knew who Saul. So they look at David, and this is a conqueror. He's taking over land, and they're not serving the Lord. They don't know the orders of the Lord. They only hear rumors. So he's taking over Israel. Now he's coming to take us over now. Right? That's their mindset. Right, go ahead.
And cut off their garments in the middle.
Now read from where he was at.
Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards.
So he took them and he shaved half of their beards off. You understand? And this to show you how priceless a man's beard is in Israel. Like, what can we do to shame them? You know what? Shave off half their beard. You understand? Go ahead.
And cut off their garments in the middle.
Go ahead.
Even to their buttocks.
Yeah. Basically stripped them. You understand? Go ahead.
And sent them away.
And sent them away. This is how they read the sermons of King David.
Right. And if I may too, sir.
Go ahead.
And what you said was so heavy in that same spirit of shaming black men and emasculating black men lives and thrives in America today. That's why they make it damn near impossible for a brother to give a slave until he says, I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to subject myself now by shaving his beard. But the heathens understand how important that is according to our culture.
God.
You understand? That's not nothing new. We've always cherished our beard and our masculinity.
God.
Right, sir. Right. Excellent point. Understand? Go ahead.
Where they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry.
So when David heard about it and these men were coming back, he didn't let them come to the city, but he sent men to meet them on the way. Right? Why? Read it again.
When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed.
Right. They were what?
Greatly ashamed.
The men were greatly ashamed. You understand? And this is twofold, because the men were shamed, right? As personally, and Israel was shamed.
Right. God.
You understand? So he sent men to meet them. Right? Go ahead.
And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown.
So he told them, you're going to go and stay at Jericho, right? Which is a land right outside of the kingdom, right outside of Israel, but belongs to Israel, right? The land that they conquered a while ago. Stay there and until your beard grow fully, right? Go ahead.
And then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that, they stank before David.
They what?
Stank before David.
So now David went from a position of, all right, who can explain what that means? I'll let you guys explain. Read it again.
And when the children of Ammon saw that, they stank before David. The children of Ammon sent.
Stay right there.
If I may, sir.
I want God off to explain.
It sounded like they was it's been a while since when they left. They was in Jericho. So when they came, it was kind of like no.
Read it again.
And when the children of Ammon,
when who?
Children of Ammon.
The children of Ammon, go ahead.
Saw that they stank before David.
Read a little bit more.
The children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians.
Okay, good God off again. Pass. Right.
So like when it says like they stank before, when the children of Ammon saw that they was referring to Israel, right?
To break this down, we have to remember we're black. We have to think like a black man. You can't think like a Edomite who would be breaking this down things. Right. You understand? Go ahead, sis. Right.
It's meaning that David once thought of them in a positive way, but now they don't. And so they realized that they messed up.
They messed up. Right. So now, like after this all went down, and they shaved the beard of the brothers, and they sent them back stripped, naked, right? They start to realize that they stink in the eyes of David. Meaning what? That's just like the sister brought out. The position of flattery that they had, where they would sending some kind words of compassion to them, it has completely flipped now. Now they are. You would read throughout the scriptures, foul smelling. It's not a literal smell. You understand? But it's actually how I see you.
Right.
Right? Now, from my viewpoint, you have a foul smell. You understand? So now when they realized that they stank and read it again.
Come. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians.
What they do?
Sent and hired the Syrians.
Now when they realized that they stank in David's eyes, they did what? They hired what? Bodyguards. That's right. Or mercenary soldiers. Right. You understand? Because now they know that David's coming to see them. Right. And so they know definitely David is coming to see them because of what has happened. Right. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Hired the Syrians of Beth-Rahab and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 footmen, and of King Makkah.
And well, how much more easier would it have been for the land of Ammon had they basically been wise and, try to see what this was about first.
Right.
Instead of jumping to conclusions. It's a big lesson in that. You understand? Always jumping to a conclusion that somebody's coming to do you harm. Like, oftentimes, it's like, that's not what it is. But because of your fear, and that's what it is, fear. Because of your fear, you go and do something foolish. Or, in this case, also, peer pressure.
Right.
Rumors. Gossip.
Right.
Spilling the tea. All that stuff leads to nothing but trouble.
Right.
I'm saying now they have to go and hire mercenaries to protect them. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. And of King Makkah, 1,000 men. And of Ishtar, 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab.
He said, Joab, go ahead. I'm not going to get into it. Joab is my man. Joab is the man in there. Yeah. I know he made his mistakes, but Joab is the man. He said, Joab, go ahead.
Okay.
Joab is a stone cold killer. That's
right.
You said, if King David said Joab, that means he wants everybody dead.
Right.
You understand? Once you hear Joab, go see him. Joab, you ain't got to tell Joab nothing else. Right. So he's saying, Joab, go ahead.
And all the host of the mighty men.
Notice who he's sending. David has some mighty men. Any military, they have the special forces.
Right.
That's what Joab and his men are. Mighty men. Right. Those who you don't want to see in war.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
And the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entering in of the gate.
Right. So they need him at the gate now because David's coming to see them, and Ammon and their allies are out there ready for the battle. Go ahead.
And the Syrians, still in verse 8. Right. And the Syrians of Zobah and of Rohab and Ishtar and Makkah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against them before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. Verse 10. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai, his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon.
Sorry, Christ. Men of here only. Magic. Barak, present thyself.
Go. Barak Ban Yahweh Ban Yashala.
Barak Ban Yahweh Ban Yashala.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakathum.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakathum. Shabbat. Go from 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 11 to 17. Go ahead.
Go. We got the book of 2 Samuel chapter 10, verse 11. Waya Amar, Takazak, Aramah, Mamanaya, Wahayatha, Laya, La Yasha Wa'ama Banya Amawan Yakazakwa Mamaka Wahalak Thaya Lahawayash Yashai Laka, verse 12. Kazak Wanath Kazak Ba'ai Anawa Waba'ai Araya Allah Hayanawa Wayahawa Yasha Salakia Yaasha Hatawa Ba Yana Yawa, verse 13. Wa Yagasha Wa'aba Wahan Ashar Amawa Lama Lakma Ba'aram Wa Ya Nasawa Mapanya Wa, verse 14. Wa Banya Amawan Ra'awa Kaya Nasa Arama Wayan Nasawa Pan Mapan Panya Abayasha Waya Ba'awa Hayara Wayasha Wa'aba Ma'a Banya Amawan Waya Ba'a Yawash Shalom, verse 15. Waya Ra'a Arama Kaya Nagapa Lapanya Yashara'ala Waya Ash Pawa Yakad, verse 16. Wayashalak Hadada Zara Wayataza Arama Ashar Ma'ibara Hana Hara Waya Ba'awa Kaya Lama Wayash Wabak Shah Tazaba'a Hada Dazara Lana Yahum, verse 17. Waya Gada Lada Wada Waya Asak Af Ka Yashara Allah Waya Bara Af Hayad Dana Waya Ba'a Ka Lapaha Waya Rakwa Arama Laka Ra'af Dawada Waya Lakmawa Amawa.
So remember, this is the battle where the Syrians and the Ammonites, they made two folds to come up against Israel, right? They broke up in two. So Joab also set up, he took his brother Abishai and put him in charge of one set of the children of Israel, the army, and he took the other half, right? And he's going to square up with them, right? So that's where we at now. So the battle's about to go down, and this is what Joab had to say. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 10, verse 11. And he said, if the Syrians be too strong for me.
So he's speaking to his brother now, right? He's speaking to Abishai. He's saying, you're going to take this group and fight these people. I'm going to take this group and fight these people.
Right.
If the Syrians be too strong for me, go ahead.
Then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will come and help thee.
So what they're banking on, his strategy is this. One of these is going to fold, right? Either they're going to fold in front of me or they're going to fold in front of you. Whoever folds first, we're going to fold them and then we're going to join the other group. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Be of good courage and let us play the men for our people. And put select.
Be of good courage and let us what?
And let us play the men of our people.
Meaning what? Simple. What does it mean? It's a strategy, right? What did Brian say?
I said it was like a playbook. It's a strategy.
Yeah, right. Basically saying, play the men of our people, meaning this is going to get the hand we're going to play. In other words, this is how we're going to do. We're going to use our men this way, right? But be of good courage, right? Go ahead.
And let us play the men of our people, and for the cities of our God. And the Lord do that which seemeth him good.
And what?
And the Lord do that which seemeth him good.
I'm telling you, man, Joab's my man.
Right.
You understand what he's saying? That's why he's so powerful.
Right.
He's saying whatever the Lord decides, that's what happens.
Right.
And that's what you gotta. That's how you have to face life.
That's right.
Any challenge that comes in front of you, you have to know that you're serving the Lord. You're keeping the Lord. You understand? You're not breaking the Lord. You're doing everything that's right in the Lord's eyes. Whatever He decides, let it be. Right. You understand?
Right.
That's what you have to. Don't start thinking in your own mind that you're strong and that you could do this and could do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when you have to prove it. when you know that the Lord is your power, then He's gonna have to prove Himself. You understand what I mean? It's the difference. When you sustain yourself, you have to prove yourself.
Right.
When the Lord is your power, you're obeying Him. You're under His house. You have to think about it this way. Sorry to go off long. Think about it this way. A household who is under the subjection of a righteous man. If that house is under his subjection, any failure in that household is his failure. Therefore, he has to make sure it succeeds.
Right.
The Lord is the same way. When you are under His cover, you understand? When you're under His subjection, any failure of yours means that the Lord didn't help you.
Right.
You did your part. That's what they call a covenant. You understand?
Right.
That's why they call it a covenant, because you do this and I'll do this for you.
That's right.
And Joab's taking the same thing. Joab's saying, look, whatever the Lord sees fit, let it be. You understand? Go ahead.
And if I may, sir, what you bring it out is so heavy because we witnessed this in Kentucky with the 8 brothers, the Kentucky 8.
Right.
When that mob came up against those brothers in Kentucky, they didn't come up against the brothers relying on their own strength. They came up against the God of the Bible. And the Lord had to prove Himself because we held up our end of the deal by following these laws.
Right.
So now the Lord showed that He was victorious.
Right.
So we were victorious because He was victorious.
That's right.
Then He come up against us.
That's right.
Exactly. Most High in Christ. Good work. Go ahead.
Go to Wakanda, verse 13. And Joab drew nigh, and the people that were with him, unto the battle against the Syrians.
So Joab approached his enemies first. Go ahead.
And they fled before him.
And they what?
And they fled before him.
Not surprised.
Right.
You understand? Joab ain't no joke.
Right.
When he started rushing them, they were like, we want no part of this.
Right.
You understand? So they ran immediately.
Right.
Right? These are hired, what's the word?
Killers.
Mercenaries.
Assassins. Right.
A bunch of heathen. They're not standing in front of Israel.
Right.
You understand? Imagine these Assyrians, these Arabs, please. You understand?
Right.
He ran quickly. Right, go ahead.
Verse 14. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then fled they also before.
So now the Syrians who they hired fled. Right. So now when the children of Ammon who had their group, so that they fled, go ahead.
Then fled they also before Abishai and entered into the city.
They ran back into the city like a bunch of cowards.
Right.
Why would you do all that if you're gonna run?
Right.
You shaving people's beards off only to run?
Right.
Go ahead.
So Joab returned from the children of Ammon into Jerusalem. Verse 15. And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together. Verse 16. And Hadazer sent and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river, and they came to Halam and Shobak.
So they basically regathered. Right. Yes, they're regrouping, so to speak. Hadazer is the leader of the Syrians, right? He's gathering his armies back up. Go ahead.
And Shobak, the captain of the host of Hadarzer, went before them. Verse 17. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Halam. And the Syrians sent themselves in array against David and fought with him.
Right. Macho. God, man, present thyself.
Kagama, Banya Howard, Banya Shala.
Good go.
Kagama, Banya Howard, Banya Shala.
Yahaba Shemel Shab Rakatham.
Yahaba Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Shabbat. All right. We had
First Samuel, 2 Samuel 10, 18 through 19, and then 11, 1 through 5.
Okay.
Verse 18. In the 2 Samuel, chapter 2,
Chapter 10.
chapter 10, verse 18 in the Hebrew. Waya Nasa, Aram, Maganaya, Yashara Allah, Waya Rag, Sham, verse 19. Waya
Okay.
Sorry.
There's more than that.
Oslaki Dawada, Ma'aram, Shaba'ai, Ma'awah, Rakab, Wa'ara Bayam, Allah, Gavashayam, Wa'ah, Shawabak, Shah, Taza Ba'awa, Hakaha, Salaki, Hakaya, Wayamah, Sham, verse 19, Wayara Awa, Kal, Hamalakayim, Albadiah, Hadid da Azar, Kaya, Salaki, Naga Power, Laganaya, Yashar Allah, Wayashar Lamawa, Yasha Allah, Salaki, Waya I but the Wam, Wayara Awa, Aramah, Lahawasha Yai, Iwad, Benaiah, I'm one. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1. Wayahaya, Latasho Wabah, Hashanaya, La'ai, Taza'ah, Hamalakayam, Wayashalak, Dawada, Yahwa, Wa'ah, Ibadawa, Imawa, Wa'ah, Kal, Yasha Allah, Wayasha Yathawa, Benaiah, Imawan, Wa Tazara, Wa Al, Rabba Wa Dawada, Wayasha, Bayara like Lum, so like Bayara was Shalom. Verse 2. Wayahaya, La'ai, Ha'ara, Wayakam, Dawada, Ma'ila, Mashaka Bawa, Wayatalak, Al, God, Bayah, Hamalak, Wayara'ah, Aisha, Wakataza, Ma'al, Hagar, Wahashaya, Tawabah, Mara'ah, Ma'ah, verse 3. Wayashalak, Dawada, Wayada Rash, La'asha'ah, Waya Amar, Halawa'ah, Zayah, Bah, Shabai, Bah, Alaya Ain, Aisha, Awa Slakia, Awa Raya, Hakathaya, verse 4. Waya Shalak, Dawada, Maya Lakayim, Waya Kakaya, Wataba Wa'ah, Alayawa, Waya Shak, Waya Shakub, Waya Shakab, Ima, Wahaya, Makada Shah, Watama Atha, Watasha Al, Bayata verse 5. Wata Ra, Ha'ashaya, Wata Shalak, Wata God, La Dawada, Wata Amar, Haraha, Anakaya, verse 6.
Yes, sir.
Second Samuel chapter 10, verse 17. 17, right? 18.
10, 8 is 18.
18. And the Syrians fled before Israel. And David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shabbat the captain of their host, who died there.
So of course they lost. The Syrians lost again. Right? Go ahead. And this part is going to be very important to understand for all those who are marching for peace. Read. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And when all the kings that were servants to IS.U.P.K saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel.
They what?
They made peace with Israel.
They had lost the war. That's when they wanted to make peace.
That's right.
You understand? They're not going to make peace when they're in power, when they feel they can fight you.
Right.
When they feel they have strategies in place to suppress you and oppress you. You didn't make peace now. No, they win it.
Right.
You understand? You kill your babies at 300,000 a year.
Right.
There are 2 million black men in jail.
Right.
Who wants to make peace with you? You're weak.
Right.
You understand? You're weak. Nobody wants to be at peace with somebody who's weak.
Right.
Right. But when they realized that they were defeated in battle, they wanted to make peace. Go ahead.
And serve them.
And what?
And serve them.
That's the only way they could be peace. You understand? Read that again. That's right.
And when all the kings that were servants to IS.U.P.K saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel.
Peace with Israel. How did they make peace?
And served them.
And served them.
That's right.
One has to serve the other. That's how life is.
Right.
That's how the Lord created the earth. Something has to be subject to the other.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon anymore. Verse chapter.
So they stopped. They never tried to help the children of Ammon anymore. Y'all done got us in some mess.
Yeah.
You understand? Keep your money.
Yeah.
You know?
Chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab.
So this part is important. At the time, it came to pass after the year was expired, meaning at the end of that year, right? And at the time when kings go forth to battle, meaning what? There was a time where kings would, like in Israel, you would not just be sitting back and just sending the troops into war.
Right.
You'd have to lead them.
Right.
Right. So at the time when kings were to go forth in battle, if there was a war, you had to lead that battle. Go ahead.
Right. And the servants with him.
No, read from
Sorry, from the top.
from yeah.
And it came, chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon.
So at that time, David sent Joab, right? Just to be clear again, there were times when kings were not allowed to go into war. They had other things to handle, right? But there were times when they were to go into war, right? So instead of going to war, he sent Joab, his faithful general, right? And his soldiers to war. And they went into what?
So, and all his Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon.
Still be from the children of Ammon. Right? They ain't forgettable, right? They destroyed the children of Ammon. Go ahead.
And besieged Rabbah, but David tarried still at Jerusalem.
And throughout this battle, David tarried at Jerusalem. Meaning what? What does it mean to tarry? Wash up.
He was doing work in Jerusalem.
Not work. Tarry. I say tarry here.
Like chill here.
Stay.
You stay there.
He stayed in Jerusalem. That's what it means. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And it came to pass in the evening tide that David arose from all his bed.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
And walked upon the roof of the king's house.
Go ahead.
And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself.
You what?
He saw a woman washing herself.
Where should David have been?
At war.
Where should David have been? At war.
Right.
You understand? And that's very important. Let me tell you something, man.
Nice.
When you're not following orders, you're entertaining demons.
That's right.
You open yourself up for it.
That's right.
You understand? That's why the scriptures stay busy in the work of the Lord.
That's right.
You understand? Because you open yourself up to demons and opportunities. Because you should have been there in the first place. You should have been at war.
That's right.
So now a demon gets to say, you know what? Let me go test it.
That's right.
Because guess what's happening? When you're at war following the orders, who's with you? Who's with you when you follow the orders?
The Lord.
The Lord.
Right.
You understand? The demon cannot interrupt that.
Right.
You cannot get in the way of the Lord. He's going to lose.
Right.
But when you sit at home, tarrying at home and relaxing, coming out your bed at the what part of the day they come out? The evening tide. In the evening. Going out your bed to go outside. Who's that? That's what's happening right now.
Right.
You understand? It's setting up for a whirlwind of issues.
That's right.
You understand? Go ahead.
It's like sir. And this is why it's important. Don't think it's not a light thing that you choose to stay home when you can be coming to class or coming to camp. It's not a light thing when you choose comfort or to choose whatever, anything, or being here.
That's right.
You're setting yourself up to let Satan have room to play.
Right.
100% correct. You understand? Because there's places you should be, and there's places he had no business being in his home at that time.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Go ahead.
And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah?
The what?
The wife of Uriah.
The what?
The wife of Uriah.
Is this not Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah? You understand? He's asking, who's that? Basically, you have to imagine the conversation.
Yeah.
Who's that? Oh, that's the wife of Uriah.
Right.
At that point, what should happen?
And the conversation.
In the conversation, nothing should be said.
Should be going, all right, shalom.
Yeah.
Go back in my room. You understand? Go ahead.
The Hittite, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned into her house.
Yes, that's the tea, bros. That's the tea. You got the tea right there. That's all the gossip you need for the day. You know what I'm saying? Exposed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. There's a scripture, and we'll get to it. Well, it's actually in this line, but I'll bring it up now. There's a scripture that says, whatever is done in the dark,
Yes.
will happen in the light.
Right.
You understand? Whatever is done in the dark will come to the light. Basically, not happen, but will come into the light. The Lord's gonna expose, especially if you were serving His, you supposed to be doing certain work for Him, and you go and do something like that, man. The Lord be with you.
Yeah.
You understand? Go ahead.
And the woman.
Does anybody need any breakdowns to what's happening here? Explanations what's happening here. Sis?
I had a question
Go
about
ahead.
purified.
Go ahead.
I didn't understand what it meant by purified.
Sure. Read it again.
Just it is. End of verse 4. And David sent messengers and took her, and she came unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified with her uncleanness, and she returned to her house.
Where it says when she was purified from her uncleanness, I mean like she was clean now. Like I don't know if it mean like she just got off a flower cycle.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
exactly what it is.
I know you said he had walked in on her showering too,
Yeah.
so I didn't know which one.
Oh,
Right. She was purified from her uncleanness, meaning she was clean at the time.
Right.
You understand? Which further gives you details of that conversation. Are you clean?
Yeah.
What does it matter at this point? It's a brother's life. You understand? That's a Judite, man. You Judites, man. You trying to lessen the sin.
Yeah, right.
Which was a major sin? Sleeping with your brother's wife or being clean? Go ahead. Read.
Verse 5. And the woman conceived and sent.
SHALAM.
Kwashia, Banya Shalom.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Shabbat.
Second Samuel chapter 11 verse 6. YAHANNA Dawadah Al Yawah Abba Shalak Alia Ath Arawaha Hakathaya YAHANNA Yawah Abba Ath Arawaha Al Dawadah.
Verse 7. Wayaba'a, Arawaha, Al-Yawa, Wayashalak, Dawada, Lashalawam, Wa'aba, Wa'aba, Wayashalawam, Ha'aim, Wayashalawam, Hamalakma. Verse 8. Wayamar, Dawada, La'a war Yaha, Rada, Labayathka, Warakatza, Regalyak, Wayataza'a, Arayaha, Mabayath, Hamalak, Watha Taza'a, Akaryawa, Masha'ath, Hamalak. Verse 9. Wayashakab, Arayaha, Pathak, Bayath, Hamalak, Ath, Kal, Ibaja, Ibadawa, Wala'a, Yarada al Bayathwa. Verse 10. Wayagadwa, La Dawada, La Amar, La Yarada, Arawaha, Al Bayathwa, Wayamar Dawada, Al Arayaha, Halawa'a, Madara, Atha, Ba'a, Madawa'ai, La'a, Yaradath, Al Bayathka. Verse 11. Wayamar, Arawaha, Al Dawada, Arawan, Wayashala, Yahawada, Yeshabayim, Basakwatha, Wa'adanya, Wa'aba'a, Wa'aibaja, Idanya, Al Panya, Hashadaha, Kanayam, Wa'anya, Abawa'a, Al Bayathya, La'akal, Wala Shalath Thawatha, Wala Shakab, Aim, Aishathaya, Kayak, Wakaya, Napashka, Ama, Aisha, Ath, Hadabar, Hazaha. Verse 12. Wayamar Dawada Al, Arwaha, Shab, Bazaha, Gam, Hayam, Wamakara, Shalaka, Wayashab, Arwaha, Bayar Washalam, Bayawam, Haha Wa'a, Wama Makaratha. Second Samuel chapter 11, verse 6. And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah.
Now, again, David had sex with his brother's wife. He's at war. He's been at war for years, for over a year now. So there's no way that he got her pregnant. You understand? There's no way he got her pregnant. David panicking, he sends Joab an order saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. Go ahead.
And Joab sent Uriah to David. Verse 7. And when Uriah was coming to him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. Verse 8. And David said unto Uriah, Go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house and there followed him a mess of meat from the king.
Okay, stop there. What's happening here? I will watch it.
Sorry, sir, if I may. King David is sending him away so he can hide the fact that what he did.
Send who away?
You're right.
Away where?
Away from him.
Okay, Kagar. You have to pay close attention to what's happening.
Yeah, I know it's something that.
So David ordered Joab to send him Uriah. And when Uriah gets there, he starts to ask Uriah, how's the war? How's Joab doing? How are the men are doing? How are you doing? And so forth. Right? Having conversations. And then David tells him, go home and wash your feet. Right. And he sends food and wine and all those things with him. What's happening here? Go ahead, sis.
Is he trying to set him up so that he will have sex with his wife?
Yeah. A man comes from war. He said, come, I'm going to send you home. Go wash your feet. Go relax a little bit. You've worked hard. And send servants with food and wine with you to your wife. You understand? Right. Go enjoy your wife. Go sit down, wash your feet, rest, relax. What's the song? Kick off your shoes and relax. Go on, relax.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah. Netflix was paid right there. Right? So he ordered him to go home. That was his plot, right? Go ahead. Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 9, but Uriah slept at the door of the king's house.
For what?
For Uriah slept at the door of the king's house.
Uriah did not go home. Uriah slept at the door of the king's house. You understand? And I'll explain that a little bit. Go ahead, keep reading.
With all the servants of his Lord.
With what?
All the servants of his Lord.
Okay, what happened there? Somebody explain to me. Barak.
So look, King David did a little Judite thing, try to get him to, go back, kick it back with his rib. And Uriah, he slept there like a good soldier with the rest of his men. Because the rest of his men ain't told to go home and, sleep with their ribs and chill and kick back. So him sleeping
with who?
With his brothers.
Right. The soldiers that were guarding the king's house. Right. Understand? The rest of the king's servants. Right? So they slept outside and he slept right with them. Right. Outside in the courtyard. Right? Keep reading.
And went not down to his house.
He did not go home. Go ahead, Barak.
Salagia too. I might be off, but if I remember correctly, like his house was right there too.
Yeah, that's why
his house was right there. That's
why he was able to see the system, because he came out on his balcony and saw the system. Right. So it's right there. You understand? And he didn't go home. He slept right there with the brothers there. Right. Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 10. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said to Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thine house?
You came from a long way. Why did you step out here? Why didn't you go home? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 11, and Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife?
King David underestimated his brother.
Right.
You understand what he just said to King David there? What did he just say there?
So like he's basically saying you want me to be comfortable while my brothers are out here in the wilderness, like they basically get hurt, and I'm just saying eating properly and being took care of like perfectly.
Right. And listen to the words he chose. Read it again.
Come on. And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab.
And who?
My lord Joab.
Right.
And the servants of my lord.
Uriah is a soldier. Right. Uriah is the type of brother that would roll with Yahushua when Yahushua said, birds have nests. You understand? Mm-hmm. And what foxes have holes. Foxes have holes. But the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Oh, if he's on the streets, I'm on the streets. Right. You understand? That was
You're right.
Uriah's stance on it.
That's right.
If my Lord is on the street, the Ark of the Covenant is in a tent. I'm not going into my house.
Right.
I'm going to sleep right out here with the soldiers because I'm a soldier. I have no place in the house. You understand?
Okay.
Reverse that. King David should have been out there too. But where was he? In the house. This what got him in the trouble.
That's right.
You understand? Keep reading.
Come on. Are encamped in open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing.
Somebody break that part down for me. It's a simple part, but I just like it. He said to King David, as you are alive, I will not do this thing. Yeah, as long as you're alive, I'm not going to do something so dishonorable. Imagine King David the way he's thinking, like, damn, man, these are righteous brothers. He really says this stuff, damn, I done messed up.
Yeah.
Big time now. You understand? Because, well, I'm not going to, different topic. All right, go ahead, keep going.
Come on, verse 12. And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the tomorrow.
For sisters who are married to brothers in the school, right, and can't understand sometimes why you're not able to see your husbands. This brother here came from war and he didn't see his wife at all. You understand? He came from his journey, and you would think that he'd be rushing home to see his wife. She didn't see him at all. You understand? That's a soldier. He's different. He's different. He's trained different. His mentality is different. He loved those brothers out in the field. His problem is this. This is what his problem. He can't be out in his home. First of all, he's wondering to himself, why am I here?
Right.
He's not saying it, but he's thinking, why am I here? I need to be at war, making sure that Joab is good.
Right.
He loves those brothers in the war, at the war. So he can't sleep.
Right.
So what's the best thing he can do? He can make sure he's guarding the brothers over here. That's just the type of brother he is.
Go on.
Understand? Keep reading.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. Imagine. Present thyself.
Kagamak Banya Howard Banya Shala.
Kagamak Banya Howard Banya Shala.
Yabba Shimel Shop Rakathon.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah.
Second Samuel 11, chapter 11, 13 through 19.
In the Hebrew, verse 13, Wayakara Lawa Dawada Wayaka Laganayawa Wayasha Wayashaka Awa Wayataza Ba'ara Lashaka Bama Shakabawa Ain.
Slap.
Yeah, no problem.
Miss the line.
Slack. I'm gonna start from 13 again. Slack. Verse 13. Wayaka Ra'a Lawa Dawada Waya Aka Lagana Yawa Wayasha Wayashakara Awa Wayataza'a Ba'ara Lashaka Bamashaka Bawa Ain Ibadiah Aldana Yawa Wa'al Bayathawa Al Yorah, verse 13. Waya Haya Babakar Waya Kata Dawada Sigara Al Yawa'a Waya Shalak But verse 15. Wayakatha, Wasagar, La Amar, Habawa, our Raya, Al, Mawala, Ganaya, Hamala Maha, Hakazakaya, Washab, Washat the Washabatham, Ma'akarai Yahweh, Wanakanaya, Wama, verse 16, Wayahaya, Bashamal, Mawar, Waya Al, Ha'izra, Wayathan, Awaya Al, Hamakawam, Ashar, Yadai, Kaya, Anashaya, Kayala, Sham, verse 17, Wayataza Awa, Anashaya, Ha'ai Yora, Wayala Kamwa, Yawa, Wayagal, Mana, Ha'ain, Ma'ain, Badaya, Dawada, Wayama, Gama, Awa Yaha, Hakathaya, verse 18, Wayashalak, Yawa, Wayagad, Madawada, Kal, Dabaria, Hayalak Kama, verse 19, Wayatazawa, Hamala La Amar, Kakala Wata, Kal, Dabaria, Hamala Kama, La Dabar, Al, Hamalak, verse 20.
That's it.
In English, chapter 2, verse 8. So I get
Verse 13.
verse 13. 11, verse 13. And when David called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord.
So now he didn't go home. So what did David do? David got him drunk. Right? David brought him to right? David brought him over, and he basically invited him to the feast, right? And got him drunk. Right? Go ahead.
Right. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter, and Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah.
Read from the top again.
Verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with his servants of his Lord.
That's it. He went right back to where he was sleeping before, right? Amongst the soldiers. Right? Go ahead.
But went not down to his house.
Did not go down to his house, which was like Barak said, right across. He's not going there. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
Even in his drunken state, he still didn't go home. He went back with
that was the plan.
David didn't say
that.
That's
He's drunk, he's supposed to go home. Nah, man. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab.
Here you go. Let me tell you something, man. When here's the danger of sin. It invites more sin. Pre-sin.
Yeah, sin upon sin.
Go ahead. That's it.
Yeah, sin upon sin. It's a
It
lot.
adds sin onto sin. You understand? Your way, a brother sins, and his way out in his mind is more sin.
Right.
That's his way out right now. You understand? So he can't. What he did the sin, right? What was the first sin he wanted to do? He lied to his brother. He wanted to confuse his brother and make his brother think that's his child. When that didn't work, what's his next step? Read.
So he called him, and he did eat and drink before him, and made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his.
Verse 14.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab.
He wrote a letter to Joab, general of the army. Go ahead.
And sent it by the hand of Uriah.
And what?
And sent it by the hand of Uriah.
He wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. You understand? Uriah is walking with this letter in his hand. What kind of letter was it? Keep reading.
And he wrote in the letter, saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront.
That's how trustworthy Uriah is. Uriah is not going to open the letter, try to figure out what's in the letter. Even though he was there for days and we couldn't understand why he was there. Why am I here? Why am I not at war? He said, give this to Joab for me. Right? Keep reading.
In the forefront of the hottest battle.
Do what?
So set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle.
When in the heat of the battle, put him in the forefront. Put him all the way in the front of the, like in the battle, right? Go ahead. Right.
And retire ye from him.
And draw back. Go in there, send him in there, and then back off and leave him in the midst of the hottest battle. You understand? And he gave the brother that letter to give to Joab for him. Right? Keep reading.
That he may be smiting.
That what?
That he may be smiting.
Go ahead.
And die.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he had assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And and there fell some of the people of the servants of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also.
Understand what happened there. Who could break down what just happened there? Who crossed you up?
God. He found where they had some of the enemy's best soldiers, and they went and fought them. And when they were fighting them, he drew back some of his men, and some of his men and Uriah died in that battle.
How many widows were made that day over David's son? How many fathers' children are there now? Sons, brothers, lost. You understand? All these men were expendable to David. You understand? To the point where, keep reading.
Verse 18. Then Joab sent and took David all the things concerning the war.
So now he's giving a report to David, right? Go ahead.
And charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so,
that's it.
That's it. Okay. I imagine. Barak, present thyself.
Barak ban Yahweh the ban Yasha'Allah.
Barak ban
Yahweh the ban Yasha'Allah.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Barakatham.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Barakatham.
Right. Final round. 2 Samuel chapter 11, 20-26.
20-26. God. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 20. YAHANNA Tha Alaha Kamatha Hamalak Wa'amar Laka Marawa Nagash Thama Al Hayara Lahalak Kam Halawa Yadaitham Ashar Yarawa Ma'al Hakawama, verse 21. Maya Hakaha Abba Yamalak Ban Yarabashta Yarabash Halawa Asha Hasha Layaka Al Yawa Malak Rakab Ma'al Hakawama Wayamatha Batha Bataza Lamaha Nagastama, Al, Hakawa Wama, Wa'amartha, Gum, Abadka, Alraya, Hakathaya, Matha, verse 22, Wayalak, Hamala'aka, Wayaba'a, Wayagada, Ladawada, Kal, Ashar, Shalakwa, Waya Abba, verse 23, Waya Amal, Hamad La'aka, Al, Dawada, Kaya, Gabar Rawa, Al Yanawa, Ha Anashim, Wayataza Awa, Al Yanawa, Hashad Daha, Wana Hanaha, Al Yahum, I Pathak, Hashara, verse 24, Waya Ra'awa, Hama Wa'ayum, Al Abadka, Ma'ar, Hak Wama, Waya Mathawa, Wa'ai, Wa'abadya, Hamalak, Wagum, Abadka, Awarya Hakathaya, Matha, verse 25, Waya Amal, Dawada, Al, Hamalaka, Kaha, Tha'amal, Al, Wa, Yawa, Salagi, Waya, Salagi, Yawa Abu, Al, Uriah, Bayana, Yaka, Hadabal, Hazaha, Kaya, Kazaha, Wakazaha, Thakar, Hakara, Hakazak, Hamalak, Mathak, Al, Hayara, Wahar, Salaki, Wahar, Rasaha, Wakazak, Hawa, verse 26, Wathashamai, Asha, Awar Yaha, Kaya, Matha, Awar Yaha, Ayashha, Wathasapad, Al, Baal Ha.
Second Samuel 11, 20 and 26. Go ahead.
Book of 2 Samuel, chapter 11, verse 20. And if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight?
So remember, you went into a place, right, where they went to a place that was heavy, hot in battle, and some of the men died also, along with Uriah, right? So now Joab is telling them, giving them instructions to go to the king, right? And this is what he said. Go ahead.
Knew ye not that they would from the top?
Yeah.
Wherefore? From the top.
From the top.
Come verse 20. And if so be that the king's wrath arise.
The king's mad because of these other brothers dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he gets upset because that was not the order, right? If he gets upset that these other brothers died also, this is what you're going to tell him. Go ahead.
And he say unto thee, wherefore approached ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight?
Right.
Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall?
Right.
Verse 21, who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubbesheth. Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebez?
What is he saying here? The king might say what? Across here.
He's saying, why are you approaching from this place when you know they're gonna shoot from that place? Then you know that a woman pushed a stone over and killed somebody over there like that.
Right. Go ahead.
Why wouldn't ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also.
To calm him down. If he gets mad that more brothers died, just say this: your servant Uriah is dead also. Gotta calm him down. You understand? And the harsh part is your servant. You understand? Right. Your servant Uriah is dead also. Keep reading.
Verse 22. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. Verse 23. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gates. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Verse 25. Then David said unto the messenger, Thus shalt thou say unto Joab, let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another.
Do not be discouraged by this, Joab. The sword devours one just like the other.
Right.
That's war.
Right.
That's how war is.
It's like that, man. People die every day.
That's it. That's war. People die every day, right? Go ahead.
Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. Verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband.
I have a question because with Joab and following the instructions to do this, so it seemed like Joab knew what was going on, but why did he follow through with it?
Khan out of one Khan.
Okay.
He followed the order.
Okay.
You understand? The king gave an order, he followed it. You understand? And Joab was a killer. And when you read about the story of Joab, there's many righteous men Joab killed, right? Because that's the profession he's in, right? That's why he's one of the most vicious killers, and he is loyal to King David, right? He's a very loyal brother to King David. So he just followed the order, right? Should he have followed the order? No, he should not. So I say that to say, if you're given an unlawful order, you don't follow it. You seek counsel. You go. You tell somebody, say, look, this brother's asking me to do this. I can't do it.
Right.
You understand? You don't follow such an order. But Joab, being who he is, he followed the order, right? And I wouldn't doubt that a lot of those people who died there also, he had some kind of issue with.
Yeah.
He just, well, I don't want to say that because it's not saying in the scriptures, but the way it played out was like, why would you put those others in that line of fire? You understand? Right. Go ahead.
The question I have though, but with Joab, he really didn't know that was like a lawful order, or did he pretty much common sense basically?
Joab gets the order, he does it. Like, I'm sure Joab has common sense because he has spoken against King David before when King David wanted to do something that was unlawful. Meaning that King David wanted to do a census, right? And Joab said to him, are not all of us your servants? Like, what does it matter? You understand? And warned him that the Lord would be against it, but King David wanted to do it. So Joab has common sense. Joab has the ability to tell right from wrong. It's just that, here he just followed the order. He said, send this man to Uriah to David. He sent him. Put him in front of the wall. He put him in front. And that was it. You understand? Any other questions on it? Go ahead.
I was just saying that the actions of King David and his wife got him killed. He didn't do anything, and she's mourning him because what she did.
Say it again.
I'm saying Uriah didn't do anything to deserve death. It was the actions of King David and his rib. His rib is the one that got him killed, and she's mourning him. Why she got him killed?
That's human nature. Somebody you know dies, you're gonna mourn. Even if you had an issue with them, especially if there was no beef, like all the people who hate you for being the truth, if they heard you pass away, they'd be crying. That's just human nature. When she heard that he died, she probably felt regret, whatever, And that was that. All right, go ahead.
Salaki, sir. In verse 9, Salaki, it's where King David, where he helped the Ammonites. Was he the only king of Israel to do something like that, to help heathens?
No. Look, King David, it's different from when you are in captivity. You won't understand it. When you're in power, you're in a position to show mercy. Right. You understand? And the scripture tells you, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. You understand? It's like your rule should be so righteous and you're so kind. And by nature, we're kind, right? And unfortunately, in captivity is a weakness.
Right.
You understand? Being kind in captivity has become a weakness for us because we're always looking to forgive and so forth. when you're in power and doesn't put your people in harm's way, yeah, you could be kind to somebody. Somebody lost a loved one, a king who was beloved by the people died. You can send your condolences. Right. That doesn't mean they're your people. Right. You understand? They may be in a servitude, a relationship with you. You understand? But when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. You understand? So I say that to say, don't think the kingdom is going to be about abusing anybody. Right. You understand? This kingdom is about using us. Right. In our kingdom, we're going to show why we should rule. Right. You understand? Because we're more merciful, more kind, you know, and we're more tolerant than they are towards us. You know. Now, whatever the Lord has in store for them, that's their reward for what they've done. You understand? But King David was not doing nothing wrong with showing kindness, especially when they showed kindness to him. He just returned the kindness. Right. You understand? And that's what it is. Right?
If I may, and there's a precept that says, I'm paraphrasing, the other nations are waiting for us to take our rightful position in ruling the earth. Yep. Meaning, the other nations know our kind-hearted nature. And right now, because we're in captivity, it's to our weakness that we're like that. But in rulership, like he said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And that's why the earth is in mourning, because the people that run the earth now have clearly demonstrated they're not fit to lead anything.
Right. And plus, sorry to ramble on, but plus, in the kingdom, the nations will come to you for justice. That's in the scriptures. Yeah. You understand? You're going to be the judges of the earth. Right. You understand? Being the judge of the earth, that means they're going to have to turn to your people for justice. Right. If something is to happen, they don't just go and do what they want, because now, you know, they fall out of line. Right. They have to come to you and say, this is what happened to me, and we want justice. Right. You understand? And you're going to be able to give them that justice. And because you're able to give them that justice, what will they do? They will love you for it. Mm-hmm. You understand? They will rejoice, because they have somebody who's going to give them justice. That's somebody in charge. Right now, in their kingdom, you can't ask for justice. We rioting and marching, and, you know, at the end of the day, not guilty. You understand what I mean? You can't. So that's all it is. King David was just showing mercy, you know, to somebody who had shown mercy to him when he was on the run. Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, imagine.
Lord, yes, Lord.
Imagine, which means to stand. Walk from YAHANNA, which means turn to face the east. We'll do the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanaw. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. I.S.U.P.K. Yahweh. Malak with Ka. Sabbath. Ratazai. I.S.U.P.K. Baal Ratazai. Kawah. Hayah. Bashemayim. Nathalanah. Lacham. Ka. Yawam. Wasalaklanah. Kabawafnah. Kasalaknah. Kabawafnah. Wala'ah. Kabawaya'ah. Wanna say one. Above. Hawashai. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahatapari. I will love you. Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy
Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
We're going to do the hakak, the power. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushar, Nathanael, Pakak, La Pa'a, Ka Makla, Wakal Madawa, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Lahakir, Hamath, Arakawa, Hatama Lagarashan, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, the water Aman. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh, please
use the power.
Give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of disease.
And all manner of
The power to
disease.
cleanse the leper.
The power to cleanse the
The power
leper.
to raise the dead.
The power to raise the
The power
dead.
against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To
cast them out.
In the
In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it. We'll do Psalms 121. Ayanya, Al-Hahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Aizari, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemai, Wa'arataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regal, Al-Yanawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'alam, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tazal, Al-Yah, Yamnika, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarab, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashemar, Makau Ra, Yashemar, After Yahweh, Yashemar, Taza Afka, Wabba Ma'aitha, Awalam, Aman.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help comes from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He that
moved.
keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel.
he that keepeth Israel
Neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is the shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee.
Yahweh shall preserve
From
thee
all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Thy coming in.
and thy coming in
This time forth.
from this time forth and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it.
We'll do Psalms 83. Allahayim,
Allahayim,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Takarash,
Al-Dakarash,
Al-Tashakwat,
Al-Dashakwat,
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awayabyaka,
Awayabika,
Yahama Yawan,
Yahamayawan,
Wamashanayaka,
Wamashinayaka,
Nasha'awa,
Nasha'awa,
Ra'ash,
Wa'ash,
Al-Aimaka,
Al-Aimaka,
Arayambwa,
Arayamya,
Sawad,
Sawad,
Wayataya Aitasawa,
Wayataya Aitasawa,
Al-Tazapa Wanyaka,
Al-Tazapawanyaka,
Amara,
Amar,
Lakawa,
Lakaw,
Wanakakina,
Wanakakina,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yazakal,
Yazakal,
Shem Yasha'ala,
Shem Yasha'ala,
Aiwa,
Aiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Salaki, Nawa'aitawa,
Nawa'aitawa,
La, Yakadwa,
Nakadwa,
Al-Yaka,
Al-Yaka,
Baya,
Maya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahalia,
Ahalia,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashma'alia,
Wayashma'alia,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagaria,
Wahagaria,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'aimawan,
Wa'aimawan,
Wa'aimalak,
Wa'aimalak,
Halashah,
Halashah,
I'm Yashabi,
Yashabi,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gum Ashawar,
Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Sarawat,
Sarawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha Laham,
Shalom,
Kamanya,
Kamanya,
Kasaya Sara'ah,
Kasaya Sarah,
Kayabya,
Kayabya,
Banakar,
Banakar,
Koyashwan,
Koyashwan,
Nashamat,
Nashamat,
Ba'ayanda Aura,
Ba'ayanda Aura,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Gaman,
Gaman,
La'adamah,
La'adamah,
Sayathamwa,
Sayathamwa,
Nadayabwa,
Nadanabuwa,
Ka'ara,
Ka'ara,
Wakasa Abba,
Wakasa Abba,
Wakasa Bak,
Wakasa Bak,
Wakata Zalmana,
Wakasa Zalmana,
Kal Messiah
Kama
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amaru,
Amaru,
Nayarashah,
Nayarashah,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Af, Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Alahayu,
Alahayu,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Sayathamwa,
Sayathamwa,
Kagalgala,
Kagalgala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Taba Ira Yaira,
Taba Ira Yaira,
Wakala Haba,
Wakala Haba,
Talahat,
Talahat,
Haryam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadakma,
Tharadakma,
Basa Iraka,
Basa Iraka, Wabasapaka,
Zabahalam,
Zabahalam,
Mala'a,
Mala'a,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Wayabakwashu,
Wayabakwashu, Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabahawa,
Wayabahawa,
Ida, Wayakapawa,
Wayakapawa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Atha, Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labat,
Labaka,
Al Yawan,
Al-Yawan,
Al-Kaharataza,
Al-Kaharataza,
Aman.
Aman.
Keep not thy silence.
Keep not thy silence.
Oh,
Yahweh.
hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still.
And be not still.
Oh, my power.
For
lo,
lo,
thine enemies
make a tumble.
They that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have
lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
And consulted
against thy hidden ones. They have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off.
and let us cut them off.
From being a nation. That the name of Israel. May be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together. One consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Israelites.
Of Moab.
The Hagarene.
The Baal. And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The
Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre. I'm sure it's drawing with them. They have opened the children of Lot.
Salah.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kishon.
Perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Made their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zeb.
All their princes as the buck.
All the princes as the buck.
And as Amunah.
Who said,
let us take to ourselves. The houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind.
As the
fire burneth the wood.
And as the fire burneth the wood.
As the flame set the mountains on fire.
And as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
Oh Yahweh.
Let them be confounded. In trouble forever.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Of the Most High.
Over all the earth. So be it.
We're going to do the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh.
Why
Yahweh Shah.
Why
Mayaka Allah. Why Alahai. Matazab Ya'ah. Alawap Yahanna. Ha Alawapia. Ha Saranya. Ha Kwatazayanya. Ha Kaya Yoya. Wahab Wafia. Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahweh Shah. The water Aman. Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh. And Michael.
The
And the angels.
the
manager, the general, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
All things living.
And all things living. Yahweh.
In
the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school.
Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
The treasures
of the rich
of Israel. Never refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches. Enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Punishment
And punishment and destruction. To the Edomites. And the nations. And the drug dealers. Their court system. The prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies. Amalek synagogues and army. The Roman Catholic Church. The Pope. Islam. Christianity. Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinheads. Posse Comitatus. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army. Navy. Marines. Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
Cable access channel.
The cable access channel.
The radio channel.
And the radio channel.
To
convict the spirit
any of thy people
that seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction.
And bring swift destruction.
To all the heathen.
To all the heathen.
That stand in the way.
Or try to stop us. From broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let YAHANNA, Michael, Gabriel, come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread throughout the media. Throughout the whole world.
Cause it to shake at thy coming.
Cause it to shake at thy coming. In the name of YAHANNA. Thank you always. So big.
We're going to bless Israel. Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Yahweh Shai. Barak Lanao. Wayasha'al.
Wahabaya.
Sapari. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Hagun. Bahashem. Yahweh Shai. Tawar Aman.
Yahweh.
In the name of YAHANNA. Bless us
and Israel.
And the school.
Bless.
Heal. Shield. Protect
our loved ones.
In the name of YAHANNA. Thank you. So be it.
Saul, which means the turn. Sisters, you can have a seat.
First. All right. Man, Israel, girds your loins to salute the Torah. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat. Yeah.
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 Yeah, gotcha. Good God. Men of Israel, men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yasmatah. Men of Israel saw. Sisters, you can go ahead and stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba'Hashem Yahweh.
Yasmatah. Dismissed.